Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. The 2025-2026 NHL season is literally around the corner. In less than 24 hours, we will see the defending undisputed Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers, raise the championship dinner against the Chicago Blackhawks. And, I mean, it's a matchup that's happening, but it's happening at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is absolutely disgusting. NHL TV schedules have been out for a little bit now and everything like that, and it's been like, my reactions to it are kind of meh. Am I going to be watching a lot of hockey this year? Definitely not on Saturdays, because I work on Saturdays. Well, actually, no. Like the first maybe couple weeks I'll definitely be watching, but like once it gets to like late February, March, April, nah, probably not. Probably gonna be working, all afternoon, after that. Yeah. But season is about to begin. PWHL schedule's out too. 8 teams are playing 30 games. Of course, we know Seattle and Vancouver are the newbies. And there's been some roster moves that I won't discuss right now because I don't have all that in front of me. Heavy favorites as usual, for the season. Again, Matthews and Nylander are still with Toronto, heavy favored. Toronto with Florida getting taking a little bit of a step back with the injuries that they have. There has been some more injuries, as far as everything goes, but ultimately, it's definitely a race to get to the Stanley Cup this year, and it's going to be one interesting race to get all the way to it. I think with a team like Carolina, can they finally get over the hump? One would think they can, but, it's Carolina. Can they get over the hump? Like Boston still has David Pastrnak, and stuff like that. But, like, is that really going to do enough? Because Boston really didn't do anything last year. And, again, the NHL schedule, heavily favors teams that, maybe aren't the greatest. Like Pittsburgh still got Crosby. Who knows how much longer he has. Washington still has Ovechkin, which who knows how much longer he lasts. You think a team like Buffalo would get something going, but I don't know about that. But like Carolina still has a lot of the same guys like Aho, Stahl. I mean, it's Slavin, it's a intriguing Carolina bunch that's probably going to be annoying to watch this year at all times. Like I said, Toronto looking really, really interesting. Can they continue, to have the success that they have with Matthews, Nylander, and others? Don't know yet. Edmonton, team that has been the runner-up the past 2 years, still looking very strong. The Lightning look pretty interesting. They look pretty interesting. Gensel, Kucherov, Point, still. And then they added some other guys as well, like Borkstrand, that have been interesting. Well, actually, no, they added more guys on defense that look interesting. I'm not going to lie. Some people are a little bit higher on New Jersey, Nico Hischier, but Timo Meyer, Jasper Bratt, Jack Hughes, but again, it's some of these teams, have had these same guys for a couple of years now, and it's like, can the pieces come together for some of these teams? Can the pieces come together? I think Toronto has what it takes to get all the way there. Again, Bedard and Chicago still kind of, they still kind of stink right now. But, I mean, they can't improve, right? Vancouver, which I will be seeing the Dallas Stars, the Vancouver Canucks, in a couple weeks. I'll be seeing them in a couple weeks. So I'll be seeing Brock Boeser, Elias Pettersson, and others take on Miro Heikkinen, and those Dallas Stars, with a pretty interesting, pretty interesting, offense, and defense, Again, a lot of the same guys, Miro's still here, like J-Rob's still here, Hintz, Johnston, Sagan, and then Mikko Rantanen still here, with Ott and goalie. A lot of people, are saying, "Hey, this might be a interesting Dallas team." You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are high on Vegas too. There's been some other changes as well. Like Doug Wharf. He's out at Carolina. What else? McDavid got a $12.5 million signing for just a couple years, though. And again, like there's some interesting roster moves. Vegas is. I see the hype, but at the same time, I don't know yet. I don't know. Like, is this team ready again to go back with Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, and others? I think this is a really good group. But is it enough? Don't know yet. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you already have an idea of who I'm picking as the Stanley Cup champions, and that is, of course, my Dallas Stars. This time, I hope I don't get this wrong. I think this Dallas team has what it takes. They retained a lot of pieces. They added some new pieces. I think Vegas will get very far. I think it'll be Carolina because of the injuries to Florida. Florida still got a lot of the same guys, but I don't think Florida will three-peat. There's no way the Florida Panthers will three-peat. There's no way. We can't have that happen. So yeah, Vegas, Dallas in the West, with Dallas coming out on top, and then Toronto and Carolina in the East, with Toronto coming out on top. Definitely think the Maple Leafs will take Canada back to a Stanley Cup, only for Canada to fail yet again in the Stanley Cup. But that's just me. And the PWHL schedule, there are some open dates, or rather some open venues that could be used for TakeOver Tour series matchups. Again, PWHL has 30 games this year. There is going to be a couple of breaks, international breaks, the Olympics, or this upcoming year. This is going to be an intriguing, 2025, 2026 season in the NHL and the PWHL. And, there's some college intrigue as well. There's been some stuff happening in the college ranks where, there's more of a drive to get guys to go to, one of the, 70 Division I schools, or rather 70 that play in Division I, college hockey anyway. And it's like, can we maintain some of that momentum? Can the college game get some of that momentum to where they can, finally break open? Because other sports have been able to break open as far as the college game is concerned. But college hockey has yet to break open due to really the lack of anything, remotely like marketable, The last couple of years, there's been some number one picks that have gone through, through the ranks of the college game. And it's like, we gotta keep that momentum going. Can we keep that momentum going? I have no idea. How will the Olympics fare? Don't know. Don't care about the Olympics. So, in any case, what do y'all think about this year? It's, again, a lot of interesting roster changes. Of course, there is things that just cannot be avoided. And the season starts tomorrow because ESPN failed to really promote anything too. So, and TNT's trying their best. Like, yeah, keeping Wayne Gretzky for like another few years is cool and all that, but does that really mean anything when nobody watches? I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna get on up out of y'all's hair, and I'll see you, tomorrow to talk college football. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about, a couple teams, but I have to.